Hey guys, I'm Sdanwolf and welcome back to the channel and welcome to finally getting this highlight video out of our Disney cruise. We got back from this right towards the end of September, and with just the holidays and all going on, I just have not got the footage off my phone. Actually, most of this, I didn't even record them on the Canon. Most of this is just from my regular little iPhone 6. So that's just, we kind of did it guerrilla style. And another thing too, you spend so much money to go on these cruises, even though Casey and I got a really good deal, but I didn't want to. This was our first ever Disney cruise. Here we are kind of in the little port area and just got out of security and got up here and got checked in. But really, with it being our first cruise, and like I said, the money you spend to go on these things, I didn't want to have the camera out and kind of, I didn't want to ruin it for Casey or have to have her come on, what are you doing? Let's get going. So I really just, like I said, I just pulled out the phone and kind of filmed when I thought it was appropriate, and we really just did this whole trip just in the moment. So I kind of let the YouTube thing be separate and just tried to enjoy the cruise with my wife, but still be able to give you guys some pretty interesting footage, to look at. And that's what I guess we'll do. We will just kind of clip these all together of what I've got, and that's why it's kind of chopped up, because like I said, I didn't approach this as a normal, quote-unquote YouTube video, but I did tell her next time we go back, it is on like Donkey Kong. I am not leaving my good cameras at home. I'm bringing the gimbal, and we are full on YouTube mode next time. But so here is, like I said, we were in September, so it was Halloween on the high seas. Very, very fun little deal. This is kind of like the main little grand staircase in the atrium area right as you come in. If you are slightly embarrassed, just forewarn you, they do say your last name as you're coming into the ship. But it's weird. It's actually it's almost a little emotional when they call off your last name and you're walking in. It's just there's so much to take in, and with these trips, you plan and plan and plan for months and months, sometimes even years ahead of time. And when you're walking on this ship for the first time, at least when it's your very first Disney cruise, like I said, you might have a little bit of sand in your eyes, because it's quite an experience. So this is, like I said, this is when we first walked in. We were one of the first groups on. One thing I will tell you is definitely get to the port as early as you can, because the earlier you're there, the quicker you board. So basically, with the Disney Dream here, leaving out of Port Canaveral, we were there before they even let people in the port. We dropped off our luggage. The little guys get your luggage. It is customary to kind of tip those guys, so little tip right there. Once they take your luggage, we were there so early they weren't even checking passports or letting you into the security area yet. So once we finally did get in, got through security, it was pretty quick. You empty everything out into little buckets. You take your belt off, anything that's metal. Some people even had to take their shoes off. You cannot buzz, and they let you through to the next section. So just kind of be prepared for that. If you still have your car keys on you and all that, dump those in the basket. But yeah, so once we got through there, and you ride the escalator up to the top of the little port area, and you kind of get in line to get your boarding passes. And once we did that, we were number 11. So it didn't even really look like there were a lot of people in front of us. But basically, there were 44 groups, and out of the 44, we were 11. So obviously, when you start to board the ship, they do the family, the honorary first family. So they randomly pick out a family to go first. This lady right there, she was really cool. She was one of the stage directors. She waved at us. But yeah, so they called our number out. They start out as, 1, and they get to us on 11. And all of this footage you're seeing right here, this is right when we first got on the ship. So definitely not, 2, 3, 4,000 people running around yet. At this point, there are still people back, still trying to get through security, still pulling up to the port and getting parked. So this was really, really cool. And one of my tips is definitely get to the port early if you want to jump on the ship early. And another thing too, people that aren't from Florida, this is kind of like a pre-boarding tip. Don't forget, on your way to Port Canaveral, you have to pass through, I want to say about 6 or 7 toll booths. So I would highly suggest bringing $10 to $20 worth of ones to get you through the toll booth. So here's our first view of the stateroom, guys. Really, really cool stateroom. We were 2008. We were at the forward part of the ship. Didn't have a balcony or anything like that, but still had a king bed, had the fold-out sleeper sofa, had us an exterior porthole window, and that was really, really awesome. The first thing you do is run to that porthole window, and it was really cool once they get you to the Bahamas and Castaway Cay, just looking out that porthole. They've got your little navigator stuff set out for you. It's already just laying there and ready to go. This is the little bathroom area. So obviously the toilet and the sink are separated from the actual shower area. So that's pretty neat. If one of you has to go to the bathroom and your partner is needing to take a shower, you don't have to do that at the same time. So as I'm kind of bumping through the doorways here, yes, this is the shower part. So really, really cool, really, really clean. We did not find see the little Mickeys on the on the towels in the shower curtain. So, but yeah, spotless. Had an awesome housekeeper. She did a wonderful job, and like I said, the room was immaculate, and really, really, really fun time with that. Now, on to the price of things. I would say we went in a kind of an interesting time, right when hurricane season had basically was still going on. So we got a pretty good deal as far as a Disney cruise go. Both of us went. It was about $1,600 for this room, 3-nighter. So $1,600, and I'd say as far as all the souvenirs go, you got to remember too, this was a couple months before Christmas, so we were in souvenir Christmas present mode. Probably spent right at $900 on Christmas, on souvenirs, like as far as for each other and the family, and this is counting on Atlantis and Castaway Cay. I'd say probably, and on the ship, you will with the pins. If you're big on pin trading, take $1,000 with you because the pins that they have on the ship, you are going to be tempted, like I was. And so yeah, when it was all said and done, probably I'd say the whole trip probably cost us about $2,500, $2,600, which, I guess in the grand scheme of things for a 3-day Disney cruise probably isn't that bad. But we did have the threat of hurricanes messing us up the entire time leading up to it. So that was pretty interesting. I was like a madman as far as every day checking the weather, just wanting to know, like, okay, is a hurricane brewing up? I was like a hurricane expert by the time we got there. But luckily, I can say, and if you caught my Castaway Cay video, I don't even think we were touched with not one sprinkle the whole time we were on this cruise. The weather was absolutely perfect. So really, really fun time with that. This right here is right out of one of the elevator decks. This is kind of one of the more like the adult area pools. It really wasn't used much the whole time we were there. I could definitely see us running out and jumping in that with no problem. All kinds of seats out here, so, the sun deck. That's one of the big misconceptions. Like Casey, this is an upper deck view of that pool. One of the biggest misconceptions that people have is you have to have kids to go on a Disney cruise. That could not be farther from the truth. Casey and I don't have any kids yet, and we had the absolute time of our lives. We had a ball. There is all kinds of stuff for you to enjoy and do without kids. Now, yes, there are a lot of kids, but basically, these were the most well-behaved kids that we had ever been around. There was not one time where Casey thought, oh my God, is this parent not going to do something with this little kid? No, we did not have that at all. So maybe we just caught a good cruise or a good group of people. But if that is one of your worries, like if you or your significant other thinks that you're not going to have a good time, and there's going to be a million kids running around ruining everything, that is not, absolutely couldn't be further from the truth as far as what we experience. Now, if you go, you might have kids like hanging from the chandeliers and climbing the rafters, but we just did not experience that at all. So, as far as the food and stuff goes, it was pretty hectic. It's kind of tough to find a table as far as the buffets and all that go. If you're late, if you come down there right in the middle of the lunch rush, you're probably either going to have to stand and eat or take your food back to your room. Sometimes it was pretty crowded on that second day, so we went back to the room and just ordered room service, which on a Disney cruise, room service is absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay extra for is obviously if you order alcohol or if you order canned drinks. So if you didn't bring your own drinks along and you have to order that from room service, you will get caught up with your $4 or $5 Sprite or Dr. Pepper or Diet Coke. But yeah, they bring it right to the room for free. So if you're sitting there and it is 1 o'clock in the morning and you feel like having an ice cream sundae, they will bring that to the room. This is actually Animators Palace or Palette. That was the first restaurant we ate at, and it was really, really fun. Another thing, if you're embarrassed, they basically have these giant screens up, and the Crush from Nemo kind of flies all around the restaurant, and they have cameras and microphones set up where somebody off screen can actually see you. So I had my glasses on that night, and Casey, like they actually come around. Casey's face was as red as a beet when he come, and he's like, hey dude with the goggles, because remember I had my glasses on, and they come right to our screen. So the whole restaurant's watching and listening. He's like, hey dude with the goggles, where are you from, dude? So you speak back. So I'm like, we're from Tennessee. He's like, Tennessee? He said, I bet the waves are righteous in Tennessee. And we're like, no, not really. And he's like, oh, yeah, I didn't think of that, dude. But he's like, well, how do they say hello in Tennessee? And we're like, well, they usually say howdy. And he's like, okay, everybody in the restaurant, let's give him a big howdy in 1, 2, 3. And everyone in the restaurant said, howdy. So yeah, my face was probably really red too, but it was really, really cool. They don't come to everybody's table, and for them to call out Casey and my's table, it was a pretty memorable night. Just like I said, an absolutely incredible experience. I highly recommend any of you guys that are thinking about taking a Disney cruise, do it. Filming here, this is Pirate Night. And like I said, guys, I'm sorry I didn't get a whole lot of footage this time, but we kind of, like I said, we wanted to enjoy it. It was our first Disney cruise. It was my first cruise ever. So Casey said, yeah, you've been ruined with cruises. If as far as me never going on a cruise and picking Disney first. So this was the fireworks of the Pirate Night. And what I understand, the Disney cruises, there are no other cruises that do the fireworks. So anyways, guys, thank you for stopping by for this quick little highlight video and hanging out with us. Well, like I said, we had an absolute ball, and I will definitely get some better footage for you on our next cruise. And leave me any questions down below you may have, and of course I'll try to answer them the best I can. And yeah, like I said, thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you. See you guys.